Welcome back to the next devlog for Ironbark Games. As I said in my last devlog, things have been quite hectic for me the last few months. If you are on Patreon, you would also know a bit more. Last month, not only was I dealing with work dramas, but my wife's family home burnt down, and immediately after my wife and 2-year-old got COVID. Fortunately, no one was hurt in the fire and our family was not living there. If you want to know more or get more updates on my life and the game, please consider joining my Patreon. As always, the link is in the description. If you're in my Discord, a link is also in the description, then you will also know that I have been working on the game again for a little while now. As I said in the last video, I've been doing more documentation and planning because I felt I can and should do better than the initial planning I did before getting into the engine. So this devlog will be going through some of the things that I have planned because I think you will enjoy the ideas and the direction I want to take the game in. The main things I have planned is the full storyline, info on the different races, fleshing out the hunters, which are now called the Felhung clan, the names of all story locations, and elaborating on core systems. I will keep most of this for the future, however I do want to update you all on 2 of my systems. My Enchanting System, as I've said in previous devlogs, ties into all magic skills, and I have come up with 2 ideas with how this whole system will work. My first idea is similar to Skyrim's Enchanting System. You will learn a spell to use with enchanting, however unlike Skyrim, you aren't trapping souls and gems. You're using a spell to infuse magic into the runes that you have carved into the equipment. And instead of collecting gems, you will need a chisel to do your engraving. So the way this would work for a gameplay loop is you'll read and find runes or words in books or around the world. The words that you can use will be highlighted and put into a player manual. Then at the enchanting station, you will use the chisel to engrave the word and then cast the spell to imbue the magic into the item. My second idea for this follows the same sort of idea, but is expanded upon a bit further. You will still need to find words and runes, use a chisel at an enchanting station, and still use a spell to imbue the magic. However, the major difference is that instead of having a single spell that you use for enchanting and only for enchanting, you will cast a spell that relates to the enchantment. For example, if you wanted a weapon with fire damage, you would inscribe a word for fire and then use a fire spell to imbue fire magic into the weapon. For both ideas, the magic would wear off with use, but the engraving would stay. So you would then have the option to use an item with the engraving but no magic, re-imbue the item with the same spell, or imbue the item with a more powerful spell. I like the second idea more because I feel like it sits better with the magic of the world and just makes a bit more sense in my head. However, I feel it would be more work for the player, so I might just stick with the first idea when I actually get around to this stage of development, which will likely be a fair bit down the track. The other system I want to share with you for the moment is my weapons system. If you're in my Discord, again the link is in the description, then you may have seen some of my concepts for this already. While I was working on my planning, I was watching a GDC talk about the modular guns in Borderlands and how that affected the audio. I was inspired by this talk to try and do something similar, but try something that would fit into my game. So I started planning and thinking about how modular swords and bows might work. These are the concepts I have come up with. Please keep in mind that these are still quite fresh and I haven't had the time to make them look as pretty. As you could imagine, you will find variations of the same sword spawning around the game with enemies and in chests. Nothing new to most games. But add in that you can also find parts, finding blades, hilts, arrow tips, etc. and modifying the sword that you have to make it better. Add in enchanting as well and you start to get a really nice weapon that is the best weapon that you can design. Adding this customization means I won't have as many weapons in the game, and you will feel that you will have more choices for combat. However, it will be a lot more work for me to get this into the game, to test it all, to balance all the weapon variations, etc. But I really hope that you'll enjoy it. So that is it for me for the moment. I feel like I'm very close to being able to get back into the engine and give you all more than ideas for the next devlog. My main goal with these videos on my ideas and plans is to give you all a view of the whole game dev process as I see it. Unfortunately, larger games need more planning than jump into Unity and see what happens. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you are able, please consider joining my Patreon and help support my channel. It would really mean a lot if you are able. Otherwise, you can find me on Discord. All links are in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.